Today's video is going to be different compared to any other video that we've done so far, where we're not doing a commentary today. It's not an episode of Snapchats. No, you're going to want to buckle down. Get yourselves a drink, maybe a can of popcorn. That doesn't make any sense. Or just whatever it is, you're going to want to sit down for this one. If you're standing, take a seat, because this is going to be a dense, dank video. If you follow Mortdog on Twitter, you would understand why, because today, Mortdog dropped a nuclear bomb, like an actual bomb, on the TFT community with the extensive and humongous patch that he has dropped for all of us to enjoy. And normally I wouldn't cover PBE changes because most PBE patches are very micro, they're very minute. Nothing changes very heavily and it's not really worth covering. But today, I mean, holy shit. This is just page 1. There are 3 pages that we are going to be going through today. So this is a lot. This is a lot to go through, and I've kind of glanced over all of these. I haven't looked too deeply into them, but today we're gonna go through all of them. We're gonna look through it extensively, and let's just get into it because again, we got a lot to go through. So first off, system changes. The XP changes have been adjusted. God bless. If you were watching Dish Soap's stream yesterday, you would actually know that he leaked that the XP changes were getting slightly reverted. So now the XP changes have adjusted. So level 6 to 9 are now each +4 from live servers, or live values rather. So getting to level 6, level 7, level 8, a slightly easier. Not as hard as it is right now, which thank God. I don't know how much this will change everything, but hopefully this, I don't know what the math is on this, but my assumption is that on 3-2, 4-2, they are standard intervals. So now you won't have an overflow of XP. You won't be playing down 2 gold for those rounds. And you know, hopefully it works out that way. Maybe these XP changes will feel better, feel worse, I don't know. I do agree that there is too much gold and economy in the game where you can get to level 8 too fast, at least with what we had initially. So definitely a change is needed, but I'm glad that they're testing it out. But if this feels like shit, I'm down for them to just revert it back to the way that it was. I'd be totally down for that. Totally fine with me. Player damage has also increased during stage 4, meaning your stage 4 boards matters a little bit more now, because if you think about it this way, I mean, you know, the tempo of the games are feeling faster. I don't know if you've noticed that as well, but at least in my games in the PBE, a lot of the games feel like they're sort of decided by, like, stage 5 feels very fast. Stage 5 feels very fast. So, like, people are dying by stage 5. People are dying out very quickly. Stage 6 is becoming a little less common. Like, you don't really see 6-1 anymore. And even if you do, it feels like, oh, it's just like the 2 high rollers are just trying to duke it out. I feel like I've not seen stage 7 at all, the entirety of PBE. And if I have, it's been like once or maybe once. It's very, the tempo is very quick. And now with these base stage 4 damage changes, they're even quicker now. So your 4-2 roll downs, your 4-1 roll downs on level 7, your 4-5s, your 5-1s, these are very important and very, very, you know, you really need to make sure that you stabilize during stage 4. You can't bleed out and try to go into a fast state. It's definitely something that they're trying to avoid, at least what it looks like from the changes. Augment distribution, slightly lowered how often prismatic augments appear. This is great as well, just because of just the sheer prismatics feel like they've been popping up pretty often. It does not help the fact that like silvers barely pop up actually if you look at the augment chance table, and as of right now actually the augment chance table, it's actually inaccurate supposedly. I can actually pull it up right now real quick for you guys, but let me see if I can find it. Reddit, I'll put up on the side. Here we go. PBE augment tree. So there's something that's really interesting about this augment tree, and I will pop it up in just a bit. Here we go. So this is the current one that we have at the moment. So as you can tell, silvers like rarely pop up, but the problem is because they pop up so little, prismatics pop up a little bit more, so that we don't have like a disgusting amount of gold augments throughout most of the game. Personally, I'm actually down for that. I mean, I just like gold augments the most out of everything. They add a little bit of value, but not too little that it feels kind of useless sometimes. And prismatic is just, I hate prismatics. Turns out this is slightly inaccurate because of a couple of reasons. One of them being because of Jace's, the Piltover, whatever the fuck, the one that offers a triple prismatic. That one will override augments completely, obviously. But there's the other one where in one of Jace's realms, where the first one is a prismatic, it does not mean that you automatically hop into this prismatic table here. You actually override the first augment with a prismatic. So it's possible for you to do something like a prismatic, you could do like prismatic gold, for example. Like that's an option. I mean, that's pretty much gonna happen here if it overrides the gold one, but maybe it overrides, it goes like a, I don't know, like a prismatic silver, prismatic silver prismatic. Like, that's an option as well. I think there's nothing in here that is unique if it overrides one of these augments over here on the left side on the first one. But if it does override it, you can't really use the augment chance table to try to figure out what level of augment's coming up next, which kind of sucks. I don't really know how they're going to go about fixing that. I don't know if that's intended, but that's just how the way it works as of right now. Going into the set mechanics, Bundle, Cafeteria, Health per Snacks increased to 20, and Hyper Roll, don't give a fuck. Health per snack increase to 20 is really nice. The 7 felt very, like, it didn't matter. So hopefully this makes it feel a bit more impactful with the Bundle Cafeteria, and you have to slam your spat or maybe even an emblem a little sooner. Hopefully that does help with the portal, because right now it just doesn't feel like it really does anything. Immortal Bastion, Battle Flag, increase to 20% max health. Immortal Bastion, the realm is fine. It punishes people for clumping, so I guess this punishes people a little less. Overall, though, this is a pretty bad realm. I don't really see this changing anything. Jace's Workshop, Triple Prismatic, now shows up less often. Thank God, because fuck that shit. It's fun in normals, but it's not fun in competitive, so I'm glad that they're lowering that. Realistically, that should only pop up like 1% of the time, because Triple Prismatics only pop up 1% of the time, so it really should be very, very little. Shuriman Bazaar, a unit can no longer appear on the carousel with 2 spatulas. I don't know why that was ever a thing. Thank God they fixed it. Warlord's Palace Treasure Armory added the possibility of seeing Chaos and Order Armories. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. If you don't know what Chaos and Order Armories are, back in set 7 during Dragonlands, we had a set mechanic called the Dragon Treasury, I believe was what it was called. But basically at the end of stage 4, you would get an armory. You just get, you get 5 different things that would pop up in your shop. Could be gold, could be components, and there are different levels to it. You'd have the regular one, which is just different gold, different components, but then you could have Chaos and Order, which would have stuff like Orn items. I believe Chaos had rating items potentially. I could be wrong about that, but everybody can get Orn items throughout their armories. You get to roll down, spend your money to try to find the items that you really want. Gold, you know, you get gold as well. You can get training dummies. It was one of those things that a lot of people didn't like, though, about Dragonlands. I mean, we all liked the armories because it sort of ensured BIS on your units, but if you ever play on Warlord's Palace, you should try to treat it similar to set 7, where you really need to greed BIS for your carries, because you're almost always guaranteed basically BIS through the armories, so keep that in mind. Godwillow's Grove, the unit in the Grove can no longer be sold during combat. This was a really weird mechanic where some people could just throw a unit on the Grove and then sell it for econ. It's a very niche mechanic. I don't really see this changing anything, though. I mean, maybe people would make econ a little less often, but regardless, Godwillow's Grove, I don't see anything changing because of that. Now going into the items here, all of the Orn items basically have gotten buffed except for Trickster's Glass, which got the 20 mana nerf. Really nice to see, just because Trickster's Glass, it was already too strong because it's basically playing a prismatic. You basically get to play Woodland Charm, which duplicates a unit for free, and it's like, hey, cool, that's great, except you actually got to choose which unit duplicated, which gives you a little more power. And then on top of that, the 20 mana, so it's like, hey, I just duplicated my J4, it's gonna insta-cast, suck my dick. So this is a really nice change to see. Shimmer Scale got slightly nerfed overall. I do agree with this. I think Shimmer Scale unit items in general are very difficult to balance, just because Draven's Axe can be very good if you have the right setup for it. If you have the right setup for Determined Investor, it's also really nice. You get it at like 2-1, you're like chilling. That game is pretty easy for you. Heart of Gold, Mogul's Mail, these are also really nice items to have. They're just very nice safety nets. I don't think that they are worth the HP nerfs, but maybe I'm wrong. It turns out that Heart of Gold and Mogul's Mail are just too strong, and you know what, I can see that being the case. Moving over to the traits section here now, we have Bastion has gotten a bit of a buff, which is good, because I've complained about this before, but it feels like a lot of the frontline units just don't feel very tanky, so it doesn't feel like we have a lot of tanks at the moment. So seeing that 4 Bastion and 6 Bastion actually, and even 8 Bastion getting buffed is really interesting. So maybe Vertical Bastions is a potential line that you could maybe run. I don't really know any boards that really fit around the 8 Bastion line, but maybe that's a thing that we could play around and test and experiment. Bruisers are getting a bit of a nerf at 6 Bruisers. I think that is fair. I think 6 Bruisers is a bit too strong. It's sort of the go-to frontline besides Juggernauts. Bruisers is like sort of like 6 Bruisers just felt really good, so I can see the HP nerf coming into play. Challenger is getting a bit of a buff at 4, at 6, and at 8. Challenger is one of those boards, again, it feels really awkward. You do need that really early Callista if you want to hit that 4 Challenger early, but even then, once you hit the Challenger early, it was like, it felt kind of mid. And I would assume Challenger is supposed to be one of those boards that you're supposed to tempo with in the early game. It's kind of like Duelist from set 8. So I'm a little surprised to see that it only went up by, what is this, like 5% attack speed. I mean, I think they could probably push the numbers a little more, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I haven't even had the chance to try 6 Challenger because it's so difficult to hit. Because once you're at 4, then you have to play into like either Shadow Isles for your Callista or maybe Ionia, and then try to tech into the Yasuo. But then Yasuo and Kaisa are both 4 costs, so it's really weird to play vertically. So hopefully we'll see some level of play with challengers and changes being made with this buff. Deadeye is getting a bit of a nerf at... No, sorry. Deadeye's actually getting a buff. That's very interesting. Deadeye's getting a buff at 4 and at 6, which understandably, I think 2, everybody agrees that 2 is fine. You just play Aphelios Ashe, and it's like one of the strongest backlines you can have. It's one of the go-to AD backlines. It's one of my personal favorites. I can see 2 not being buffed, but 4 and 6 getting buffed is interesting. I think the idea is that because whenever you play 6 Deadeye, I haven't seen really a lot of 4 boards, but 6 Deadeye, you sort of pray that you can one-shot the backline carry. Because if you can't one-shot it, then it has really low HP, and then it like heals very slowly back up. But then the Deadeye units will never target them again after that. So if they don't one-shot it, it's kind of doomed. But with the 120% bonus amp, it's very possible that 6 Deadeye is definitely a board that you could play that could potentially just one-shot backline carries, especially squishy ones. So that is something to keep in mind. Demacia getting nerfed, I mean, it fucking needed it. I think 9 Demasias was way too strong. It gives you 5 Radiant items on top of that. It gives you, what, like 150 armor MR across the whole team? Like, that's fucking nuts. It's really, really strong. So, it's getting literally halved. And 7 Demacia is actually getting halved as well. 35 bonus armor and MR is actually very low for a 7 vertical chase trait. So, it'll be interesting to see how Demacia plays out. Sure, obviously you get the Radiant items included into the bonus packages of Demacias, but, I mean, this feels... I mean, I don't know how popular vertical Demacia is going to be at this point. We'll see. Invoker here with team mana regen, it is getting buffed at 6, which is great. 6 Invoker felt a little weak, so I'm glad to see that change being made. Invoker bonus mana regen is also getting buffed at 4, which is interesting to see. Maybe this will just help the, like, maybe when you get to 4, you have a little bit of that bonus extra mana regen, and then at 6, you get an extra team mana regen that just helps a little bit more. Hopefully that helps. We'll see how that turns out. I think Invoker already was a decently playable line. It's a little difficult. You kind of wanted to carry Galio Augment. On top of that, you kind of wanted the 3-star Karma as your main carry. But nonetheless, hopefully we'll see that Invokers become a thing, because I really want vertical Invokers to work out. It feels very good when you play it in terms of like a vertical line, because you got all the units very easily. It's very easy to hit 4 at, like, you know, 2-1 actually. But it's still one of those lines that it just doesn't feel like it's where it needs to be in terms of power. So hopefully this will fix it. Ionia. Ionia is a very interesting vertical shoot we'll talk about a little bit, but fix the bug where the Ionia emblem was giving less attack speed than intended. That's good. Gen 80 bonus has been buffed. Aurelia bonus and armor has been buffed. Set HP has been buffed. Karma has been buffed. And Ari has been buffed. Interesting. So here's my take on this. Ionia right now, vertical Ionia feels very awkward to play. It's very difficult to play 6 and be stable. But reroll Ionia has already become a thing where you have the reroll Jin and the reroll Aurelia on the board, as well as potentially reroll Set, because you're rolling for 1 cost. You might as well hit the 2 cost as well, if you happen to find them. And we're starting to see that like Jin 3 and Aurelia 3 can actually like hold their own already. This was before the patch, so I mean, I'm really interested to see how Jin 3 Aurelia 3 plays out. It's definitely a very interesting combo to play around, and I think we'll have some very interesting boards coming out of these Ionia changes. And maybe vertical Ionia may even become a thing, but I think Yasuo 2 with 6 Ionia, I just don't think it's that strong. That's just my opinion. But maybe after these changes, I'm wrong. Juggernaut changes. They have changed the minimum damage reduction, and they've nerfed it, as well as the maximum damage reduction, going from 20-40-60 to 20-35-50. Which is good to see. I think we all are a little tired of Juggernauts. Juggernauts are sort of the premier frontline, actually. It's actually more than Bastion. You see, you kind of see Juggernauts more during Stage 3, Stage 4, rather than having the Bastion frontline with, like, Taric and Poppy 2 or Maokai 2. I think it's just because some of the Bastion, the main ones that you get in the early game, are just 1 cost, so it feels worse than just playing two 3-starred, 3 costs, such as, you know, Garen, Darius, maybe even like Sets, which is still 2 costs, but it's better than the, you know, the 2-star Poppy that you're gonna get. So Juggernauts have been a little too strong, especially with the damage reduction, and they fixed the bug where the trait turned off at 8. I mean, good. But nonetheless, I don't think this hurts it too much. Damage reduction is a very interesting stat where it's a very fine line. It's either very bad or it's very, very good, and there's no real in between. It's very difficult to balance. Hopefully this will nerf the Juggernaut comps a little bit. I think 6 Juggernaut was a little too reliable, especially with the level 7 roll down. If you didn't know, you could play a vertical Juggernaut frontline at 6 with the crest, and then you would just play for a Kaisa carry in the backline, and you get 2 challenges with Warwick, and then you just send it on 7, stabilize, and with the XP changes, you're sort of incentivized to play like this, and then hit the 2-star Kaisa if you're really low HP, and then you just stabilize, you get your top 4, you go to the next game. So good to see the Juggernauts get nerfed a little bit, but I am a little worried about what the new like level 7 roll down board is going to be, so we'll see what goes on there. Piltover 6 cash out now grants much lesser loot. Good. 6 Piltover was too strong. I think we can all agree Piltover was way too strong. If you hit Piltover at 2-1, it was kind of a GG. So I'm glad to see that Piltover is getting nerfed. Power adjustments. Power has been increased roughly 1.5x at each loss interval when still grant 1 power. So they are definitely trying to incentivize more lose streaking with Piltover. So we'll see how this works out. T-Hex, health per power, it's getting nerfed. AD per power is getting nerfed. Resistance per power is getting nerfed. AP per power is also getting buffed though, and the laser damage is gotten halved. It's literally halved. 800 to 400 is crazy. But it says that the node says it's much weaker at lower power and breaks even and scales up at higher powers. So this means that they're definitely really trying to incentivize that lose streak with Piltover. I don't see this affecting the Piltover Malzahar comp that I posted yesterday. I actually think that it's still viable. In fact, it actually might be even more valuable. You'll just lose a bit more HP in the early game. But you take something like Transfusion, the Vladimir hero augment at 2-1. I mean, you're incentivized to do that. And then you could just probably like play out. You could also just probably play Piltover. The idea is probably going to be you are probably going to be rolling down on 7, stabilize your board a bit with Piltover, cash out that T-Hex, get a win, and then you just pivot your board. It's definitely playing way more closer to Mercenaries from set 6 than it is to playing around like maybe like a Windstreak Underground board from set 8. So interesting to see how Piltover is going to work out with these changes. Going on to Shadow Isles, HP shield has been buffed and the shield duration has been buffed as well. I mean, 1.5x. Like, you're basically, like, I don't know, how do I describe this? Like, it's a 150% increase on the shield duration, which is pretty large. But I feel like the shield was not something that anybody really cared too much for. But maybe we'll see, like, I don't know, maybe like a reroll Maokai board with the HP shielding. And maybe that will help it more. I'm not really sure. Shadow Isles just feels very awkward because you have a 1 cost with Viego, 1 cost with Maokai, 3 cost with Kaisa, and then 4 cost with Gwen. It's a really awkward board to play. So, I don't know. Maybe this will change something. Maybe it won't. I'm interested to see how these changes work out. Shurima, HP regen has been nerfed down to 5%, and the attack speed has been nerfed to 35%. I think that's fine. Vertical Shurima was definitely too strong. It was definitely one of the stronger verticals, along with Demacia, so it's glad to see that's getting nerfed. Targon, shielding increased. That's good to see. I think reroll Invokers is definitely going to be something significantly more interesting this set now, especially with the possibility of playing around Soraka carry with Galio as your front line. It's really, it was strong already, so I'm interested to see how these buffs, you know, shake up the playing field. Void, note all damage is significantly increased through Void's AP bonus. So, Herald, base HP has been buffed, charge damage has been buffed. Baron, the technical damage has been nerfed. Vorash's bite has also been nerfed quite a bit, but the bite now heals Baron regardless of whether the bite connects. And then the corrosive acid, shred, and shunder gets nerfed a bit, and the acid damage also got slightly nerfed. So we're seeing Baron at 8 Void is getting slightly nerfed. It's not actually that large of a nerf. Now that I'm looking at this, it's a nerf, but it's not like huge. So I think 8 Void is still very much playable. It's definitely still a chase trait. You can go for it to secure like very solid top 4s. But on top of that, I think Herald getting buffed is interesting as well. This means that even if you're not getting the chase trait, you're not getting that Void emblem. Excuse me. You can still probably play around like 6 Void and still like definitely more than before secure your top 4. I said this before, I think 6 Void is a very top 4 comp. It's either a board that you play for tempo in the early game and then you pivot out into like 3 Void or even no Void. And then you just try to, you know, surround your board with like a Kaisa 2 carry and just like a bunch of other really strong units. Interesting to see how this works out though, because if you're low rolling in a Void game and you're still 6 Void, it's very possible for you to still top 4. So, I mean, it's just interesting to see how this works. Zon bug fixes. Overcharge now consistently works. That's great. And Overcharge now correctly activates if the mod is equipped during combat. That's also great. So, Zon has not gotten a lot of playtime, at least throughout the PBE. And I'm assuming it's because most people found out that Vertical Zon was bugged and the Overcharge mods weren't working. A lot of the mods looks like they're also been amped and buffed as well. Adaptive Implants mod has been buffed with extra ADAP, more Omnivamp as well. Hextech Exoskeleton mod has also been buffed. Overcharge damage ratio has been giga buffed to 250%. That's very interesting to see. So we'll see if that does anything. Maybe like a carry echo with the Hextech Exoskeleton mod. Robotic Arm mod, the bonus true damage has been doubled to 40%, so that's very concerning to see. Shimmer Injector mod with bonus attack speed. Unstable Chemtech mod with overcharge. Explosion percentage has been nerfed, which is kind of surprising because I didn't think that mod was even like that great to begin with. And then Virulent BioWare, my apologies, English is a hard language. Damage buff is increased to 20-25%, duration is over 4 seconds, and overcharge duration has been increased to 10 seconds. I think we'll definitely start to see a lot more vertical Zon being played. A lot more people are going to be experimenting with the mods. I myself don't have a lot of experience playing around Zon because Zon is sort of one of those things that like it's like admin from set 8 where you want to check your Zon mod like immediately, because I'm sure that at a certain point people will begin to optimize the mods so that we have very strong mods for very strong Zon units. I'm definitely going to be trying to play a lot more Zon in general, and hopefully we'll see a lot more Zon being played because vertical is very interesting. It's very similar to admin, less variety, if you will. There's definitely way more admin choices than Zon mods, but definitely are some really cool combinations that you can create here. So hopefully we'll see some really cool vertical Zon boards, maybe around a Urgot carry, maybe around a Jinx 3 carry. Even though Jinx 3 feels like fucking ass right now, but I mean, I digress. We'll talk about that later. Moving on to page 2. Thank God we're down to page 1. Take a sip. Take a sip. Take a sip. Chill. Are you still with me? Are you still buckled down? Take a sip of your coffee or your drinks or whatever. Water if you're boring, but page 1 done. Let's go. Let's keep going. So, page 2. Champions. So, 1 cost. Cassiopeia spell damage has been buffed. I hope that we see some reroll Cassiopeia because it's a very cool board to see, especially with vertical invokers. So, hopefully we will see more vertical Cassiopeia in a bit, or maybe around Noxus, who knows. Cho'Gath has been nerfed a bit with the health on kill going down to 35, 35, 35. Spell damage has been nerfed at... No, spell damage has been buffed. Oh, interesting. Spell damage has been buffed and the spell HP ratio though has been nerfed. Okay, so that makes sense. So they nerfed the HP ratio percentage on the damage, but they increased the base damage, so that's fine. Overall, this shouldn't change much about Cho'Gath. He will scale less as the game progresses, but nonetheless, still really, really strong 1-cost tank. I don't see this changing much about him. Moving on to Kale, bonus magic damage has been nerfed at 3 costs. I don't really know how I feel about this. I think 3-star Kale was a strong unit, but I don't think that it was strong enough that it deserved a nerf, especially just because like Kale is one of those units that like you really want to go level 9 with, but it's really hard to go level 9 when you have a Kale 2 on your board as your main or a Kale 3 on your board as your main carry. You will stabilize throughout most of stage 3, well basically all stage 3 and then some of stage 4, but you'll really start to feel stage 4. So I don't really know. I'm indifferent about these changes. Maybe Kale rerolls will be good, but I mean with the Demacia nerfs and with the Kale nerfs, I mean, and like it's gonna be hard to go level 9 in most competitive lobbies. So I mean, I already don't think Kale rerolls a very viable strat in competitive lobbies, but hey, in low elo, it might be very possible that this is sort of like the Anima squad of low elo, where it's really good in low elo and people will spam Kale reroll all in like gold, bronze, silver, maybe even plat, and then you hit diamond, maybe not even diamond, but like starting from like masters plus, I really don't see Kale being a viable unit for a reroll 1-cost carry. Cool concept, just not gonna really be that great. Orianna now probably slows by 30% instead of 50%. So that's actually technically a nerf, which is kind of interesting to see. I mean, Orianna's just a great utility unit to have, especially in the sorcerer board. So, I mean, nice to see. Poppy, 4-star stun duration has been nerfed. 4-star knockup damage percentage has been nerfed. No! I mean, listen, this hurts me because the Talia reroll board relying on 4-star Poppy to put in some real good work. Seeing reroll Talia get nerfed here hurts me, so I'm sad to see this change being happen. But I mean, 4-star Poppy was a menace, so I mean, I can see the reason why. Renekton has his mana cost, looks like nerfed actually, so it looks like it's gonna cost a little more for him to cast now, so that's interesting to see. I didn't think that Renekton was ever that strong of a unit. I've tried playing Renekton carry before just to see how vertical brawlers worked with the 1-star reroll with Cho'Gath and Renekton, but this is, I mean, this feels unnecessary. You're just nerfing the Croc for fun, bro. Like, what the fuck? Samira, spell total AD ratio has been buffed. That's nice to see. 3-star Samira definitely feels very underwhelming, so maybe we'll see some 1-cost rerolls with maybe Challenger with the Irelia and the Samira, maybe even a Jhin on that board as well for Deadeye / Ionia. and then you can have like a challenger Deadeye backline and challenger frontline of some sort. I don't fucking know. That sounds like dog shit. Actually, don't play that board. But maybe vertical challengers, maybe some reroll challenger board exists, and that could work. I doubt it though. I don't think this changes anything. 2 costs, Ashe now properly slows by 30% instead of 20%, so this is actually technically a buff, which is kind of interesting to see because Ashe is already a strong unit, so this bug fix might actually encourage some nerfs on Ashe later on. Galio does get a bit of a healing nerf as well, so I mean, I was talking about, you know, reroll invokers, so seeing Galio get nerfed, I mean, that definitely hurts that comp. Jinx spell ratio has been buffed by 10% and then 15% at 3-star. Listen, if you've played Jinx 2-star as your like sort of tempo carry throughout the mid game, and tempo carry, when I say that, I mean like as in like your temporary carry in order to tempo you out throughout the stage 2, stage 3. 2 gunners in the backline feels really, really bad. Already feels terrible. If you have a 2-star Tristana and a 2-star Jinx, you're like, even with like a 2-star frontline, you're probably not guaranteed a streak and during like stage 4 or stage 3 rather. 2-star Jinx feels terrible, and I don't think the spell damage ratio is actually the problem. I think, to my understanding, it actually almost looks bugged with how little damage she outputs. On the right hand side, you see the stats and you see that she's dealing X amount of damage, but then you look at your board and you're like, dude, she doesn't kill anything. Like, she actually just, it's like, oh, she did 2.5k damage, that's really cool. So why did anything die? You know, I think it feels like it's almost bugged. So I mean, obviously I could be wrong, but I mean, Jinx 2 feels terrible as a unit, and Jinx 3 feels even worse. So I mean, maybe the spell damage ratio changes things up, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Jinx's spell is actually bugged by some level of means. Kled, the base AD has been up by 3 AD. I don't see how that changes jack shit. Forecast execute threshold has been buffed to 25% though, and the execute attack time is downscale slightly with attack speed. So that's kind of interesting to see. Kled had this weird issue where I had a buddy of mine who played Kled reroll, and he's just like a Kled enthusiast for whatever reason. But he just has this weird issue where he just sort of like has this animation for his execute, and then it would just like stall out and actually lose fights. It's similar to like Anima posing, where Anima squad units in set 8 would pose after they get a kill, and then they just like, you lose tempo there, like you lose DPS. So hopefully this changes things. The execute threshold going up to 25% is actually pretty crazy for the forecast version, so maybe we'll see a little more reroll Yordles actually with 3-star Poppy, 3-star Tristana, and like 3-star Kled. Like, maybe we might see that. I don't know. I don't see how the board could work out. It's very difficult because you need a Heimerdinger eventually, but I mean, who knows? Set. The voice crack. Set. Set. The stun duration is 1.75 to 2.5 to 1.25, 1.52. That's fair. I mean, Set was too strong of a unit already. I can see that being the thing, but they did buff his armor and MR, so maybe we'll see a little more Juggernaut with Set. Swain, his spell damage has been nerfed, and his spell bonus HP has been buffed, and his buff duration has been nerfed to 6 seconds. Swain reroll was sort of one of those things that was like, it could work. You could run like a vertical strategist board, and like it can maybe work with like 3-star Swain and 3-star Teemo, and like maybe some level of Yordles. I don't really see that board ever. I think people have experimented with it, realized it's not very good. Swain 2-star is a strong unit to have on your board. It is one of the main tanks for sorcerers in general, especially for vertical sorcerers. But nonetheless, it never felt like super good. So, I mean, I don't think this changes anything about Swain, to be honest. Talia, the mana buff. Oh, a mana buff. Nice. So Talia reroll has been slightly buffed again. So even though the Poppy got nerfed a little bit, maybe Talia reroll is still potentially a thing. Teemo, the poison now stacks. So there's a lot of Yordle buffs. So maybe we'll see Yordles become a lot more of a playable option in the near future. Warwick is getting buffed as well. His health has increased. His armor and MR has been buffed as well. But again, Warwick reroll is like, it's a tank. It's a thing. Don't expect him to do damage. He's a tank. Don't build double Titans on him. It doesn't do jack shit. We've already seen Emily Wang do it once. Nobody wanted to see that ever again. 3 costs. Darius has been buffed slightly. So Darius carry is slightly better. Garen, the spin will no longer multi-stack with Ginzu's on multiple targets, which kind of sucks. We're going to see less spin to win Garen's. Still think it doesn't change that much. But, I mean, maybe it's possible that it's still a very viable board. I don't think we'll see, like, the crazy amount of spinning that we saw, like, in Late Duck's video that he did about the spin to win Garen changes. Jace as well has been nerfed, actually. So, a little more mana to cast and a little more difficult to get his AoE Zeke's effect going on. I don't think this changes much about anything. Maybe this slightly affects, what is it? Bastion, Gunner, Double Trouble boards. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't think this changes anything. Callista spears per cast 5 to 6. And then reduce cast time from seconds per attack to seconds per attack. Plus 0.152 seconds per attack. So, post cast mana lockout now scales with attack speed. So, I got a small ass brain. I've played very little Callista. I don't know if this is a buff or a nerf. To me, this sounds like a buff. Spears per cast is 6, so I would assume it's a buff. We'll see how this turns out. I don't know anything about reroll Callista. I've tried reroll Callista before. It's a very difficult board to pull off, but I mean, hey, if it works out or somebody has a very reliable Callista 3-star board, let me know. Taric, shield amount 325, 400, 475 to 400, 475, 550, which is nice. This is hand in hand with the the Bastion buffs. So hopefully we'll see a little more. I mean, Taric's already being played enough. I would be surprised if like people are like, oh, Taric is still a bad unit. Like, I don't even think he was ever bad. Vel'Koz's shield damage has been buffed as well, and the fizzle should be fixed, which is great. Vel'Koz's carry was not viable because his spell would actually fizzle from time to time, so I'm glad to see that they fixed that. Spell damage also being buffed as well. We might see a little more reroll multicasters, so reroll Sona, reroll Vel'Koz. With the, I believe it is a 3-star either Garen or Juggernaut frontline, I believe. And you get the Demacia buff in there with Galio, I think. Really, really cool board. Definitely was a concept that was theorized very early on, but I don't think it is something that we'll be seeing. I mean, maybe we'll see it a little more often. We'll see. I mean, I still think 3-star Sona is just the way to go in that board, but that's just me. 4 cost, Aphelios. Base chakrams generated down to 3. Max number of chakrams has been giga nerfed, basically halved at 1 star and 12 at 2 star instead of the 20. Chakram damage has been buffed though, and the blast 80 percentage has not really changed except for 3-star, but who gives a fuck about 3-star Aphelios? If you have 3-star Aphelios, you should win the game. Should no longer cause FPS lags at high attack speeds. I didn't even know that was a thing, but that's pretty fucking hilarious. I don't think this changes much about Aphelios. We'll have to see how the numbers play out, but I still think Aphelios is going to be the premier AD carry of the set in general, so I'll be very surprised if Zeri overtakes Aphelios as like the #1 AD carry here, but we'll see how things go. We'll see how things turn out. I will say though, it does seem like Ginsu's is basically the thing that's getting the most nerfed here, because you're getting significantly less chakrams here overall, so I don't think Ginsu's is going to be as good on him, but I mean, I could be wrong. We'll see though. Maybe IE, Deathblade, and like, I don't know, fucking GS is like the way to go. I don't fucking know. We'll see what the build turns out to be. But I mean, maybe Ginsu is still good, maybe it's not. I don't know. Gwen, 80 nerfs, very surprising. Spell damage, she is also getting nerfed, as well as her missed armor and MR is also getting nerfed. So I mean, listen, Gwen was a strong unit, but her AD getting nerfed is weird because she is an AP carry. So does this change much? Not significantly. I still think Gwen's going to be a very, very strong unit. She's just going to be a little less tanky and a little less reliable as she used to be. But she's definitely one of those flex units that you can always put in for, like, if you have like a Titan's Resolve and like JG or like Ionic Spark or like, you know, Hodge. Like, you can definitely play around with Gwen. Gwen is still like one of the better carries. It's definitely, I think it's slept on by lower elo players in general because it's a little difficult to tech onto your board and flex into, but nonetheless still a very, very strong unit. Definitely love to see that she's getting nerfed here. Jarvan with the AD nerfs, armor nerfs. Good. He's too strong. He's too strong. This is deserved. Kai'Sa 80 getting nerfed, and the spell damage is also getting nerfed. That is, I mean, good to see. Kai'Sa is a really strong unit. She does auto a lot, so I can see why the 80 nerfs are in play. I don't think the 80 nerfs change anything. Spell damage nerfs, it's only 5 AP. I don't think this changes much. Kai'Sa will do like a tiny incy less bit of damage, but she's still a premier carry. Lux channel duration has been nerfed at 3-star. Who gives a shit? Spell damage 750, 1125 to 4k to 750, 1125. I mean, okay, 3-star Lux got nerfed a little bit. I don't think anyone cares. Urgot HP has been buffed. Spell shield has been buffed, and it looks like the leg base damage has also been buffed. So definitely gonna see a lot more Zon, a lot more Urgots, a lot more vertical Zon. I think that's like the big thing. I think vertical Zon is gonna be definitely way more playable now, and I think it's definitely something that people are gonna experiment with during this upcoming sort of mini cycle, if you will, until the next patch. Yasuo, the 80 has been buffed. Slam AoE 80 percentage has also been buffed. I think that's good. Yasuo, I don't think anybody views Yasuo as a premier carry. Everybody likes him for the CC with Tornado. It's really difficult to play Yasuo carry. I mean, you usually play like Yasuo Kaisa, but then like why would I itemize Yasuo when I can itemize my Kaisa? You know what I mean? So nice to see. Hopefully that changes things. I mean, I don't think it'll change things too much, but I'm sure a 2-cost Yasuo is, or 2-star Yasuo rather, is definitely like a decent damage dealer. I just don't think people have itemized him correctly yet. QSS is definitely major on him, and you also need something like an IE. But once you have like QSS, IE, Deathblade, I'm pretty sure that thing is a monster. So I mean, we'll see how things turn out. Lastly, Zeri's spellcast time has been increased to, decreased to 0.5. Oh, yikes. Now scales spell animation speed with attack speed. Interesting. So now, it's interesting because Zeri had like this weird tooltip where like it was recommended to build Ginsu's on her, but it was really difficult to understand why. Now that the spell animation speed has been increased with attack speed, maybe there's a bit more merit to it. I know Ginsu's is like our #1 recommended item for whatever reason. It still doesn't make sense to me, but if someone wants to explain that to me, then feel free to go ahead in the comments. 5 costs, Aatrox. Aatrox has been nerfed a little bit. HP is going down, the AD has gone down, the attack speed has gone down, the Omnivamp has gone down, the Darken bonus HP has gone down, Darken Omnivamp has gone down, and the Darken respawn time has gone down. Well, it's gone up, but that's technically a nerf. Aatrox was never that oppressive. I've definitely seen those clips of like the 1-starred no item Aatrox like just fucking turbo smurfing sometimes, but I mean, this is a heavy nerf. So, I mean, maybe it was necessary. I mean, personally speaking, I haven't really seen Aatrox work out very well, but I've also teched him onto my board very little time, so maybe I'm just sleeping on the tech. Ahri big spell damage has been buffed a little bit. That's really nice to see, just because Ahri 2-star doesn't feel very impactful, or rather, it's difficult to see the impact that she provides. Sure, you have the stats bar on the right side telling you how much damage that she does, but overall, Ahri just kind of feels like a meh unit, like a meh legendary. She doesn't feel like a legendary, you know what I mean? She doesn't feel like Heimerdinger. She doesn't feel like who's another 5-cost that's like really, really cool. She doesn't feel like Ryze. Ryze, you can feel the impact of him being a legendary, or Senna, or Sion, so, or even Cassante. So, you know, she's definitely one of the less premier 5-cost carries in my opinion. So, seeing the buff, very, very nice. Heimerdinger is getting a lot of nerfs here. HP's gone down, the mana has gone up, which is technically a nerf. Turret HP has gone down, turret attack speed has gone up, but it matches Heimer and they always sync. Turret spell damage has also gone down, and the micro rocket missiles damage has also gone down. So, I mean, this is good to see. Heimerdinger, I actually don't really view him as a damage carry. I don't think you should build him as that. I think instead you should be building him with a lot of mana regen. He is definitely more of a utility 5-cost legendary, but he provides so much utility, and you get to choose the utility. He's just very, very good as a unit. So, usually you see a lot of people are sort of not really opting to build Last Whisper or their static shivs anymore, because nowadays the resistances aren't really that necessary as they used to be, because there's very easy to tech and failure onto your board if you need that kind of stuff, or if you also need to, you know, put in Heimerdinger for the shrink module, which will give you armor and a Marsh Shred, which is really, really nice to see. I would have actually liked to have seen more nerfs towards his actual sort of upgrades that he can provide to his turret rather than to the champion itself. I think his upgrades are a little too strong. I think Goldenator, Shrink Ray, and where's the other one? It's the one that applies Morelos across the board. Really, really strong. Those I wouldn't be surprised if those got nerfed, but seeing that the champion got nerfed, maybe I might be wrong on my read here, but nonetheless, I still think that the upgrades are way too strong, and I still think Heimerdinger is not going to be very affected by these changes. Rise, the failure version. The permafrost now properly slows by 30%, which is technically a buff, which is great. No longer stacks with chill. That's a huge nerf. Permafrost now counts as chill for effects like Sejuani's passive. It should have always been doing that. Ally buff duration for it gets increased to 6, and the enemy stun duration. Oh, this is for Ionia. Let's just talk about Freljord real quick. Freljord Rise was really good with Deadeye and Bruisers, because the idea was that you would play like Sejuani and Ashe and Aphelios, Lissandra, Rise, and you basically get Invoker, Freljord, Deadeye. Really strong combinations, along with the fact that the Freljord Rise provides chill, which works with Sejuani's passive, which will now apply true damage to units. So, for example, let's say that Rise, you position your Rise to target a unit, and then it just AoE chills, and then whatever unit gets hit by the Aphelios with the Deadeye just gets hit with true damage. It's really, really strong. So, saying that it doesn't no longer stack with chill is really interesting. I don't know if that means that it won't stun anymore, but I would be kind of surprised if it didn't. But maybe it's just saying that chill on chill, then like the attack speed doesn't, you know, stack on top of each other. And if that's the case, then Freljord Rise is still very, very strong. Definitely a go-to. If you're in the Freljord realm, definitely a go-to is Deadeye Bruisers with Rise on your board, to keep that in mind. Rise Ionia. Ally buff duration has been increased to 6 seconds, and enemy stun duration has been I mean, it's buffed at 3 stars, but who gives a shit about 3 stars? I don't think this changes anything. Rise, the Noxus version, the damage amp has been decreased to 10%, which is quite a large nerf, actually. And the spell damage has been decreased by 150, 225, 2k. I have not played the Rise Noxus version yet. The Noxus one is the one where he throws a bunch of axes, and if it hits your units, then they get, I believe they either get an item or a damage amp. So, interesting to see that they thought that this was way too strong. These numbers really suggest that the nerf is very necessary because it's way too strong. So unfortunately I never got to see it, but that is what it is. I'm sure it's fine now. Shurima Rise, the mana has been increased. No, it's actually, the starting mana has actually been increased, so you're actually quicker to cast. And then the damage has also been buffed as well, and the chance to spawn gold has also been buffed. So the Shurima Rise is the one with the tornado, I believe, is the one where it's kind of like if you had Janet's tornado from set 8 and Urgot's Stretch from set 8, and you put them into one ability, and that's just what that is. That tornado hits a bunch of units, and it has an opportunity to dredge up gold and dredge up other things as well. It's a very greedy Rise variant, but nonetheless, very nice to see that it's getting buffed. I guess they just thought that it is very greedy to play it on your board, so I guess they just want to incentivize you to greed a little more. Pretty rare for you to ever play Rise on your board if you're in the Shurima realm, but nonetheless, I think if you're very high rolling, it's definitely a cool way to cap out. Senna has been nerfed with a decrease on her shield percentage at 2 stars and 3 stars. I mean, who gives a shit about the 3 stars? But the 2 stars gets nerfed slightly by 15 shield, and the shield duration has also been buffed at 3 costs. Again, who gives a shit? I don't think this changes anything. Excuse me. Scion. HP nerfs, spell AD percentage also has been nerfed. Spell stun duration has also been, looks like it's been nerfed as well, and the 3-star Scion now punches much harder. I mean, cool. I mean, if you have a 3-star Scion, you should win now. So it looks like there's a lot of 3-star changes for the 5 cost, but this doesn't change much for Scion as well. I mean, nothing looks that different here. I mean, sure, like the stun's slightly less, half a second, like, who cares? Cool. Page 2 done. Again, dense ass, guys. We're buckled in. We're getting through this shit. Take a sip, stretch, like stand up for a second, like, oh my god, just, oh yes. All right, 2 pages down, 1 page to go. I told you this is a dense ass fucking patch. My god, we're into the last bit though, into the augment section. Legends, gotta go fast too. Move speed has been increased to 40%. Increase the percentage of managed gen to 20 to 25. Gotta go fast 3 has also been buffed as well with the increase of the bonus speed and the increased percentage of mana gen to 30 to 35. Gotta go fast. I don't actually know off the top of my head which legend this one is. It's probably a legend that was very unpopular. I wouldn't be surprised because a lot of the unpopular legends really get very little playtime. So it seems that it is actually the Master Yi. It's the stage 4 too, so they actually buffed it. So interesting to see that it's getting buffed, but I don't think anybody really ever likes taking Gotta Go Fast ever, so I think that's partially the reason why, like, I haven't even seen it. I think personally I've never even taken it, but maybe this changes something, but I don't think it changes much. Maybe, nah, I don't think it changes anything. I can't think of very many units that benefit from move speed except for Juggernaut, and even then I don't even know if you would really want to play Master Yi Legend Augment when you could play the Vladimir, because Transfusion is just way better. Final Ascension. The damage amp has been nerfed a little bit. That's good. Final Ascension is just way too strong of an augment in my opinion. I think it's really good. I think it's just too strong. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets nerfed a bit more. But it is a prismatic, so who knows. Final Grab Bag, the gold has been nerfed down a little bit. Final Grab Bag 2 has also been nerfed a little bit with the gold that you get. Final Grab Bag, again, this is probably one of those augments. It's from Tengu. It's an augment. It's a legend that really nobody really takes. If you're starting off the game, sure, it's a good way to learn, but I don't think anybody ever really takes Pengu. And in general, I don't think anybody really takes Final Grab Bag. So yeah, I mean, interesting to see that they wanted to nerf it. I don't think it was that strong, but I mean, hey, maybe the stats say otherwise. Pace to Learn. XP has been nerfed and the gold has also been nerfed at both the 1 and the 2 stars. It pays to learn is the Aurelian Soul stage 4-2 augment. You gain 16 XP and 16 gold originally, so this is the nerf. I mean, I've never played this augment, but I mean, this augment kind of feels like trash. It's supposed to be weaker than other 4-2 augments, but like the prismatic option is like Windfall but worse. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This augment just doesn't feel very good, so I can see what. I mean, they're nerfing it though, so I guess they thought it was too good, but I mean, I'm surprised they're nerfing it. Teaming Up, the gold has been nerfed, and the Teaming Up 2 and 3 has also been nerfed as well. Teaming Up being the Twisted Fate augments. Again, this is one of those legends that nobody really takes. Cool to see, but I mean, it gives you a Zeke's Herald already, and then nerfing the amount of gold it gives. I mean, I don't think it's that strong, but hey, maybe it is. I don't know. I think the pace to learn too, it could be strong, but clumping in this set is really, really bad. There's a lot of AoE CC, a lot of AoE damage, so... I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think these changes do anything. You're just changing things. Teaming up. Let's see. Oh, no. Sorry. We're talking about teaming up already. Tiny Power has also been... It looks like it's been buffed a little bit, which is kind of interesting to see. Tiny Power, for those of you who don't know, it's Veigar's 3-2 augment. You gain... What is it? Your team gains 4% AD. It gains X amount of AD and AP and attack speed. So it's good to see that it's getting buffed a little bit. I don't think this changes anything. It increases it by 1 AD AP attack speed. I don't think it changes anything. I don't think anybody really ever likes to take Tiny Power, especially when like on 3-2 it's very possible to get off for Tiny Power. Veigar's your augment or your legend choice, but then you also get like tons of stats, which is just like the better version. Like, I don't know. This just doesn't seem very good. Silvers, Demacia, Ionia, Noxus, and Shurima Heart have been removed. This is very good. I believe Demacia and Shurima Heart were way too strong. Ionia and Noxus are a little surprising to me. But nonetheless, very interesting to see. Missing Link has also been removed, which is great as well. I don't think Missing Link was ever like an augment that was like you should really try to play around. It was really difficult to play around. Sorry, you heard a little bit of the badoom because my my computer cannot find the word Missing Link. Missing Link was the one where if you refresh your shop 40 times, you get a copy of every single 5-cost unit. I mean, it just feels really awkward because what ends up happening is that you end up rerolling, you 3-star everything, and then you hit the 5-cost, and it's like, dude, I have no space to put these 5-costs anywhere. There's just cold, so not that great. All natural, percent max HP has been nerfed, which is interesting to see. All natural is definitely one of the stronger silver augments, so I mean, it's good to see that it's getting nerfed. Cutting corners, XP requirement reduction has been nerfed down to 3. What? Cutting corners, for those of you who don't know, cutting corners is an augment where it is not in my notes. I believe it's the one that it costs less money to level up. I'm surprised I don't have it in my notes, but I just don't. But yeah, I mean, I don't think this changes much, but it's weird. Now your intervals are very awkward. Risky moves, gold has been reduced down to 35. Risky moves, I don't actually know. Your risky moves is an augment where your tactician loses 20 health, but after 7 player combats you gain 40 gold. So it's actually been dropped down to 35. Interesting to see. I don't think it's that good, to be honest. I mean, it's okay if you're win streaking and then you take risky moves, it's fine. But I mean, 7 player combats is a long ass time just to get like what, a 35 gold injection. I mean, it's a strong augment. If it plays out, you get it early, but it's definitely not that great in like 4-2. Like I don't think a single person would ever take it at 4-2. Silver Spoon has been nerfed a little bit. It just feeds you XP, goes down from 12 to 10. Don't think it changes much. Spoils of War drop chance has been changed from 25% to 20% and lowered the frequency of a major drop. Spoils of War, if you don't know, I believe that is the Draven augment. It is the one where, let me see if I can find it for you. When you kill an enemy, there's a 25% chance to drop loot. So strong augment, but like you're kind of playing down an augment trying to win streaks. It's a high risk, high reward sort of thing. It's kind of similar to consistency, but I mean, 25% down to 20%, I don't think it changes too much. All Natural 2 has also been nerfed as well. Also really great to see because again, All Natural is one of these stronger augments. If you don't know All Natural, it's where the units that are not holding any items equipped gain 150 health and heal for a percentage of their max HP over time. So I mean, 4% max HP healing per second is crazy strong still. I mean, I don't see this being a bad thing by any means. Built Different 2 has been nerfed, which is very surprising to see. I have not seen very many Built Different games, and I have not even had a chance to play one yet. But seeing that's getting nerfed already, I mean, this set I feel like is going to be a very strong Built Different set. I don't have any like concrete reasoning as to why, except for the fact that like a lot of units feel a little, I don't know, this set feels a little more disjointed compared to other sets. I don't really have a reason why I feel that way, but it's just how it is. Endurance training, HP per stack has been increased. Endurance training, I don't actually know what this augment does. Endurance training, your champions permanently gain 15 health every time they kill an enemy. Champions start with 100 bonus health. So you gain more HP every time they kill an enemy. I mean, I don't think this changes much. Maybe this is good in like hand in hand with like the Vladimir augment transfusion, but I mean, I don't know. HP stacking, it could be good, it could be bad. Maybe it's good in a Juggernaut comp. Not really sure how this plays out, but cool to see that's getting buffed. Maybe some people will take it a little more. Freaking Flyers, roll units until the bonus is down from 20 or down to 18 from 20. Frequent Flyer, for those of you who don't know, Frequent Flyer, if you roll your shop, I believe 18 times now, your rerolls cost 1 gold, which is cool to see. It's a cool augment for reroll comps. It's like the economy version of a reroll augment. It's okay. I've played it before. It feels fine. I don't think it matters, to be completely honest. 18 rolls is actually quite a lot. It sounds a lot. It doesn't sound that much, but it actually does. It takes a while to actually get there. So, seeing the nerf there, kind of nice. Don't think it changes much. Glacial Breeze attack speed nerf from 10% down to 8%. Glacial Breeze is when your Freljordian. Dude, okay, can we... League has some of the weirdest names, but okay, whatever. When your Freljordian storm strikes, your units are shielded for 20% of their max HP and gain 10% attack speed gained to Freljord units. So, Glacial Breach, the attack speed percentage, they just gain less attack speed. I mean, I don't think this changes much. I think Glacial Breeze is a pretty strong augment, especially if you're planning on playing around Freljord. So, planning on playing around Freljord. That's a fucking tongue twister, my guy. Anyways, moving on. I don't think it changes anything. Still a really strong augment. Indomitable Will, the immunity duration has been increased to 10. For those of you who don't know, it's when your units score a takedown and they shed all negative effects and crowd control, and they're immune from crowd control for 6 seconds, but not 10 seconds. If you're win streaking and you take Indomitable Will, oh my god. I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. I thought Indomitable Will was a really strong augment, but I guess I can see the reasoning as to why it's not good. Because, like, maybe, like, a really... Like, your backline carry gets the takedown and suddenly it's not very good. But I think with Juggernauts, I think this will be a very, very strong augment. I thought it was already a strong augment, so... we'll see, we'll see. Mana Burn no longer damages units without mana. That's pretty interesting. Kind of a weird sort of way to go about it, but sure, why not? Mana Burn, for those of you who don't know, it's the one that gives you a Shroud. Let me see if I can find the exact description. You gain a Shroud and all enemies take 3% of their max health as true damage each second until the first time they cast their ability. I think Mana Burns, the strength is just like gives you Shroud, and you just get a little bonus. I don't think, like, you don't really care about that initial damage too much, but I mean, nice to have. Morning Light, percent max health heal has dropped from 75 to 60, which is really good. Morning Light felt way too strong. Morning Light is where your bashing units regen 75% of their health when the bashing units were down to 50% of their HP. So going down to 60% feels really nice. I mean, 75% was way too strong. If you had a Poppy 2, Maokai 2, you basically had like 6 units on your board. Way too fucking strong. So glad to see Morning Light's getting nerfed. I still think it's one of the best tempo augments in the early game, so definitely keep an eye out for that one. Overcharged Mana Front, the starting mana has been dropped down to 20 from 30. Overcharged Mana Front. This is the really OP one for sorcerers. I actually forgot what it was initially, but after looking at the icon, I remember which one it was. But it's wherein your sorcerer units gain 30 mana. The first time each sorcerer gets a takedown, each combat they gain 30 mana gained to sorcerers. Really, really strong augment for sorcerers and verticals in general. It's so fucking strong. So glad to see that it's getting a little bit of a nerf. I mean, 30 mana, 20 mana is not that big of a difference. It's like 1 less auto. I still think it's a really, really strong augment. You should take it every time if you're playing sorcerers. Patient Study. XP gain on loss has been decreased down to 3. This is the Aurelian Soul augment that you get at 2-1. Where, you know, if you win, you gain 2 XP. And then if you lose, you gain 4 XP. Well, but now 3. So, I don't know. I don't think this changes too much with Patient Study. Patient Study will definitely feel a lot worse. It was definitely more of a loose streak augment. But I mean, I don't think this changes much. You can actually still win streak with Patient Study, and you can think of it as, oh, every turn just gain 2 gold. Like, that's just an easier way of thinking about it. So, I mean, Patient Study seems fine to me. I still think it's very takeable. I mean, 4 to 3 is actually kind of a large change, but no. I mean, think about it this way. You gain 25% less XP on a loss, right? It's kind of substantial, but win streak Patient Study, like, still very viable, I think. I don't think anything changes there. Rich Get Richer, initial gold dropped down to 11. This doesn't change jack shit. Rich Get Richer Plus from 20 down to 18. Again, doesn't change jack shit. Nobody really likes to get Rich Get Richer in anyways, especially in the higher elos. It's a very greedy augment to take. I would be surprised if this is I don't even think it needed a nerf, to be honest. I'm actually very surprised by this, but I mean, that's just me. I think it's one of those things that's strong on PBE, but it won't be strong on the live servers. Rift Walk, Casted and Carry. The bonus AP has been buffed to 35, which is really good to see. Casted and Carry is a really interesting board. You do play this with Double Trouble. It's one of the strongest ones or strongest variations you get to play rather. But even without double trouble, I think it's very possible to win. Actually, I don't even know if it's really possible to win without double trouble, but the double trouble board with Cassid and Carry is you play double Taric, double Cassid, and double Soraka, and it's really, really strong. Surprised to see that it's getting buffed here, but again, double trouble plus Riftwalk is a really difficult combination to hit, so I don't really know if that's going to be a thing, but hey, like, sure, why not? I think one of the legends should have offered the opportunity to always hit double trouble, but I mean, kind of sucks that it doesn't, but it would have been really nice to see. I think legends should have been, this is a tangent, but like, legends should have offered like different ways to play, as in like, you're guaranteed double trouble with this legend, or you're guaranteed built different with this legend. Like, that's sort of the direction they should have taken with it, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, let's keep going. We are almost done with this page and done with the video. Holy shit, I've been recording for like almost an hour. Anyways, Sentinel Shield. Attack speed bonus has been nerfed down to 35, and the percentage health shield has been nerfed down as well from 18 to 15. I don't know what this augment does at all. Sentinel Spirit. When in Spirit form, your Ionia units gain 40% attack speed and shield themselves for 18% of their maximum health. Gain 3 Ionians. I mean, we're seeing a lot of Ionia buffs, especially in the vertical, so maybe it's good, maybe it's not, I'm not really sure, but definitely something to keep an eye out for. I'm sure somebody can try to limit test this with vertical Ionias. Let me know how it works. Let me know how it works with the Jhin board. But, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't sound that good to me. I mean, actually, it does sound kind of good to me. If you play like the reroll Jhin board with this, I think it actually has a lot of potential, but I mean, who knows? Somebody test it out for me. Spoils of War 2, drop rate has been dropped down to 30%, lower the frequency of major drops. Again, this is the Draven augment. I don't think it really needs a nerf. It was already fine as it was. If you win streak, you get really good stuff, but you're trying to win streak down an augment, so yeah, I don't know. It's a little difficult to say. Shurima's Legacy, damage minimum has been dropped down to 180, and the damage maximum has been dropped down to 900. It's a huge fucking nerf. Shurima's Legacy is where you gain a Shurima. No, Shurima's Legacy is when your Shurima's Ascend and you summon the Sun Disc, is when you summon the turret. Sorry, I was looking at Shurima Crest. And then your Sun Disc attacks enemies for X amount of damage, and that's where the damage nerf is coming in. And the damage increases every 2 seconds. Oh, sorry, the damage changes based off stage, but it does magic damage every 2 seconds. So, this is quite a large nerf. I think Shurima's Legacy, I mean, to be fair, vertical Shurima was already strong without Shurima's Legacy, but even if you're playing Shurima's Legacy, it's very possible that you don't even want the Sun Disc. You might just want, like, a stat booster. Like, I don't know, tons of stats, anything that gives bonus AP. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very good to me. I don't think the nerf is necessary. Starter kit, stages we give a copy has given from 2 down to 1, which is sort of surprising. Starter kit, if you don't know, let me find the definition for you. Starter kit, S-T-A, starter kit. I don't have it. Hello. Starter kit. Oh, this is why I didn't have it. It's in the... Oh, wait. Is this a typo? Starter kit, for those of you who don't know, is a prismatic augment, which is in the gold section here for whatever reason, but... is there a gold starter kit? Am I missing something here? I don't think there is. But the copies have been dropped. Sorry, what am I reading? Stage we give a copy 2 down to 1. So that's kind of surprising. So starter kit as of right now, it was basically you basically gained the 2-star forecast for free at stage 4. So you just get whatever forecast you get, and then you would just like 2-star automatically for free, and you just play around that copy, just tempo with it, and it was too strong of an augment. I'm glad that it doesn't automatically guarantee you it. For those of you who don't know starter kit, you gain a tier 4 champion and a component that they can use, and a 2-star tier 1 champion that shares a trait with them. And then at the next 2 stages, you gain that tier 4 champion again and then again. So you're not guaranteed that 2-star forecast anymore. You only get 2 copies of it, but hopefully with a pair, you'll be able to find the third one that you need fairly easily. I still think starter kit's a really strong augment. Definitely one of the best like prismatic augments you can get. Caitlyn's prismatics are just disgusting. So definitely, you know, keep that in mind. Like, I think starter kit's one of my personal favorites for prismatics. I still think it's very takeable. Tactical superiority, 6% down to 5% AD and AP per active trait. Tactical superiority. I don't actually know what the fuck this one is. Tactical superiority. What does this augment do? Tactical superiority. It says that your units gain 6% AD and AP for each of their traits you have active, doubled when you feel the strategist gain 2 strategists. This is Stand United on drugs. So, I mean, this sounds fucking incredible. I think like, obviously it's gonna get a nerf, but I mean, if you hit tactical superiority, you should play it every time. I think it's so strong. 3 is a crowd, 75 up to 100 health per tier 3 unit. 2's healthy and 125. So these are just like, if you have a lot of 3 costs or a lot of 2 costs on your board, you get bonus stats. I think 3 is a crowd is definitely a playable augment. I don't think anybody has really figured out the most optimal. I'm sure it's like Taric 3 frontline with like some 3 cost backline carry, probably around like multicaster with Son of Vel'Koz. Not that Vel'Koz is not bugged anymore, but potentially a very playable augment. I don't know what the board looks like, but I think people just don't know how to play around it yet. That's why it's getting a buff. But once people figure it out, it might get nerfed again in the future. Vampiric Blades has been nerfed down to 20% Rogue Omni Vamp. I mean, did it really need it? I don't really know. Your team gains 10% Omni Vamp, and your Rogues units gain 25% instead. So the Rogues in particular are getting nerfed here. I mean, it's fine. If you have a very strong Rogue opener, I guess you could play it. But most of the time, I don't see a lot of people playing this augment. Yordle Unstable Portal, moving on, has reduced the odds of getting Heimerdinger, which is good. You should need that. Yordle Unstable Portal is just where the portal happens, and then you get a Yordle every turn onto your bench. This is basically the old Yordles from set 6, but it's cool to see that it's being offered as an augment. I think that's a really cool change. You have my bow has been reduced down to 18% attack speed for whatever fucking reason. That's stupid as hell. I mean, that augment, nobody ever takes that augment, so it's just, yeah, they're just changing things to change things. Finally, in the prismatic section, we are almost done. Built Different 3 has been nerfed, which is, again, surprising. I haven't gotten a chance to play it. I'm fucking annoyed by it, but sure, why not? Cruel Pact, Help to Buy XP has been nerfed, and the heal per round has also been nerfed. Let me say that again. Cruel Pact, the Help to Buy XP has been nerfed, and the heal per round has also been nerfed. With the XP changes, Cruel Pact is dog shit. So they're nerfing it, on top of the fact that they changed the XP. Sure, some of the XP changes have changed back, but I mean, listen, test Cruel Pact out while you can on PBE, but I'm probably guaranteeing you right now, Cruel Pact is probably dog shit. If you don't know Cruel Pact, the way to play around this augment in general is that you have a level 7 board with a 4 cost carry involved, where you want to try to play around that board. So, for example, the Cruel Pact in set 8 was Jhin, where you would play around Renegade's Jhin, and you try to 3-star any 3 costs you'd hit plus the Jhin that you'd eventually try to 3-star by going to level 8 with like infinite amount of gold, and you roll down for the 3-star Jhin. That strat doesn't seem as viable now, so maybe around a 3 cost reroll board. I don't know. I would never take Cruel Pact, but I think right now it just sounds terrible. Like, I want to take it right now. It was almost an instant take every single time in set 8, but now I don't know. It looks like shit. Cybernetic Leech getting a bit of a buff. Very, very nice. For those who don't know, it's just cybernetics but for HP, so you just get a little more HP, which is really, really cool. I might be a little wrong though. I think Leech might be the Omnivamp version. Yeah, they gain HP and 25% Omnivamp, so a little bit of a buff here. Really, really nice. I think cybernetics in general, this patch, or this set rather, is really strong. It's very easy to get a lot of components, very easy to just component spread, so I think cybernetic Leech is going to be way too strong. I think cybernetics in general is way too strong. You should take cybernetic augments whenever you can. Hedge Fund, the initial goal has been dropped down to 16. That's fine as well. Hedge Fund Plus has been dropped down from 30 to 27. I mean, I don't think these augments are going to be very good in general in terms of like competitive play. You can't really greed a lot of the gold and those really high interest rates without taking a lot of HP, especially with the stage 4 changes. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, I already think that they were fine as they were, but they're basically just gold injections with a little bit of a bonus, but they're kind of mid. March of Progress grants XP immediately from 4 to 8. Interesting to see how that plays out. Again, I don't know how March of Progress works at all, but maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, I'm not sure. Parting Gifts, max HP shield has been buffed up to 40%, which is interesting to see. Parting Gifts was never a very popular augment because it buffed your units that weren't your carries. Parting Gifts, for those of you who don't know, it is when a unit dies, they pass a temporary copy of one of their items to the nearest ally with open slots and shields them for the 35% of their max HP. You just get a bunch of shielding. It's interesting to see how this plays out. I don't know. I don't think it'll be very good, but maybe if you're playing cybernetics, it could be good. I don't, like, maybe on like a vertical sorcerer board where everyone wants AP. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It's a very difficult augment to play around, to say the least. Spoils of War, drop rate has been dropped down as well. Again, this is the Draven augment. Again, I don't think it needed a change, but that's just my opinion. Starter kit, copies of champs, we've already gone over this one. They just put it twice. Tiniest Titan, money and healing now both happen after PvP rounds only, which is an interesting change. I mean, I think everybody kind of expected this to happen. Tiniest Titan, it's the one where you gain, you heal 2 HP and you also gain 2 gold per round. It's basically like Metabolic Accelerator, but better. I mean, I'm a little indifferent about this augment. It feels very top 4-y, but that's just me. Wellness Trust, the last prismatic augment. HP per round has been dropped from 3 to 2. Wellness Trust, if you don't know, it's you gain, well, now you gain only 2 gold. Oh, you gain 3 gold, but if you have at least 50 gold, your tactician heals 3 HP. So, now you only heal 2 HP. I don't think this augment's very good. I'm gonna be honest. I think Wellness Trust is gonna be one of those augments in competitive. If you get it, you're basically getting more dog, because being able to stay above 50 gold the entire time is very, very difficult. And it's almost never worth it because you're gonna lose HP anyways if you just stay above 50, and then you get to heal and mitigate some of that, but then it's like, hey, like, you're maximizing your interest, and then you're doing what, like a level 7 roll down for what? Like, it seems kind of mid. Anyways, good. Done with the augments. Let's talk about the bug fixes. I'm not going to go through these very in depth because most of these should have been fixed already, but I mean, glad to see that they're fixed. Kaisa, Missile Volley no longer fizzles if she is untargetable. So the Knight, or Edge of Knight, and Zhonya's, which is good because Edge of Knight and Zhonya's should be really, really good on her, but they weren't. Specifically Zhonya's. So glad to see that got fixed. Fixed the bug where chill could fall off early. Okay, cool. Fixed several broken Piltover cash outs. Good. If you saw any of the Piltover cash outs, the Radiant cash out was fucking nuts, where it turns all your items into Radiant items. That shit was fucking bonkers. Glad to see that it got fixed. Patient Study can no longer be offered on 3-2. That's good. Fixed the bug where Renekton wouldn't stop dashing if his only valid target was surrounded by allies. Good. Fixed the bug where Renekton would teleport if you give him multiple RFCs and high-scope weapons. What? He would teleport if you gave him multiple RFCs and had... Does anybody have a clip of that? Oh, that sounds so... Ooh, I want to see that. Fixed the bug where Ancient Archives 1 could not be offered to the non-Earth players. That's really weird, but glad that you fixed it. Garen now correctly launches an attack every 3 spins, no longer multiplied by number of targets hit. This means that Garen reroll is definitely getting hard nerfed, by the way, with the attack speed changes. It's a huge change. There's a huge change because Ginsu's would stack like a crazy amount if he was surrounded by a bunch of enemies. So definitely we're gonna see a large nerf to the Garen reroll board, sadly. But cool to see that it was actually a bug instead of like an actual intended interaction. Aatrox no longer triggers combat caster on every swing while in his ult, which is good because that shit was broken as fuck. Sleight of hand and not today now grant bonus to units with Rascal's Glove, Bring Up Dawn respectively. Good. Void now works properly on Ghost Zombies. Good. There's still a bug, by the way, with Void, where if you had 3 Void and you take, and like, I don't know how this bug exactly works, but your egg could appear on the opposite board. So like, for example, like you have all your units in the front row, but your Void egg would be in front of that. And I had no idea how to fix it. It happened to me and I don't have a footage of it. I'm sorry, but it's still a bug. Be careful with Void. It's a very buggy trait. Treasure chests from Spoils of War will no longer have health bars. Good. Target emblem and Shadow Isle's emblem are now actually available from most sources that grant the emblems. Good. My buddy got fucking fucked over because he wanted a Shadow Isle's emblem and then he didn't get it. So good to see that got fixed. Fixed the bug where Cassandra and Set could stall out PBE rounds for real this time. Good. If you didn't know, there were times where if you had a Cassante or a set on your board, your units just froze. They wouldn't do anything and you'd lose against the minion round and you wouldn't get your loot. Really shit. T-Hex no longer changes size while traveling between boards. It's a visual fix and that's good. Okay, and that's it. We are done. This was a fucking long ass video. Oh my god. And this is a PBE patch, by the way. But I mean, after this patch, I'd be surprised they patch anything tomorrow or the day after. I'm sure they'll probably patch something for the weekend itself. But I mean, this overall looks really, really good. My general takeaways, I think Invoker reroll is going to be fun. I think Zon Vertical is a very fun thing to test out. I think 3-star Jinx is probably still shit. I still believe Jinx is probably bugged, but that's just me. On top of that though, everything else looks really interesting. Everything else looks slightly a bit more balanced. Some things feel like they didn't need to be changed, but we've already gone over that. But yeah, Garen has been nerfed though. Probably don't play it. Maybe try out Darius' carry. And I think that's about it. Oh, and try reroll Yorls. I think reroll Yorls got buffed quite a bit, so I think that's definitely a slightly more viable option compared to before. Anyways, that's gonna be it from me. Thank you guys for making it through. Give yourselves a pat on the back. This was a fucking doozy. This was a long ass video, and I will see you guys all on the PBE very soon. I will be streaming right after this, so as soon as I, render the video and I get this uploaded onto YouTube, we will start streaming. We will be playing on this patch. Come join the stream. You see the little thing down here, plus the links in the bio. So hopefully to see you guys there. Take care, guys. I am tired. I'm gonna go shit myself and then take a break and jack off and just lay on the bed like a fucking starfish. I deserve it. Anyways, what? Alright, I'll see you guys later. Take care, guys. Happy climbing.